Bienvenidos and welcome. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us for this Desayunos con Amigos special event. My name is Andres Estrada, and it is an honor to serve as chairman of the LCC. Before we continue with our program, I'd like to welcome you in joining me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to encourage you to follow us on all our social media channels as we work diligently to put out information relevant to you and your small business and our community. I would like to thank the LCC staff and the president of the LCC, Pierre Guzman, for organizing today's event. And we thank them for all the work that they do for our members and the business community of Nevada. The LCC is committed to working with our local and state partners to bring you relevant information and resources to help your business navigate these trying times. As the marketplace continues to improve, the LCC will be here working for your success. And now we continue with the LCC Desayuno con Amigos.
Wow, that was awesome, Andres. Thank you so much for always leading us in all of our events and also leading our chamber as chairman of the board of directors at the Latin Chamber. Welcome to Desayunos con Amigos. And it's got a little festive feel to it because we're close to Cinco de Mayo, right? So it feels festive, and I'm just very happy to do this. Very happy to be able to bring you such great information. Thank you all for joining us. I know banking and everything to do with banking is so important, so we thought it would be great to have our partner, here with us. So Emily Stevens, Director of Community Engagement with SCE Credit Union, Federal Credit Union. And going to give us some great information that I think is so important because banking, being bankable, all of that matters. And so I'm just looking forward to it. Emily knows her stuff. This I already know. Emily, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure. And it's going to be a series of things so this isn't going to be the only one. And I'm just looking forward to bringing incredible information. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Thanks again for having me today. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. I want to talk to you today about banking. There's an idea out there that, maybe this isn't really necessary. I mean, do we really need to bank? Do we need to keep our money at a financial institution? Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully everybody can see this okay. Can you see this?
Yep.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Why do so many folks still remain unbanked or underbanked? According to the most recent national survey of unbanked and underbanked households by the FDIC, over 6% of US households, that is over 14 million American adults, are unbanked. Now, here's something you should know. Here in Southern Nevada, we have one of the highest rates of unbanked and underbanked households. We have about 30%, which is more than most cities, especially large cities in our country. So why is that? Why are so many people unbanked? Is it because it's not necessary? Is it because people are doing something different? Let's talk about it. I think one of the reasons that we have found why people remain unbanked is because of a trust factor. A lot of folks have stopped trusting financial institutions, or they never did in the first place. Sometimes the lack of trust can come from, it's a generational mistrust. It's something that's been passed down among family members because of something that somebody went through in the past. So I want to talk to you about what some of those scenarios look like and why that lack of trust might exist. The first is that we meet folks pretty regularly that have been through something, right? Maybe you've had a poor experience with a financial institution. Maybe you're in a situation where you say, well, a while back I had a bank account, and what ended up happening was they let me overdraft my account. I didn't realize it was overdrafted. And so I continued to make transactions, and throughout that time, every transaction incurred a fee. And before I knew it, I owed that financial institution like $400 in fees, and I didn't want them taking my money from me in the amount of this large amount in fees. And so at that point, what a lot of people will do is they'll close down their account, they won't pay it back. Now it becomes difficult to go get another account. And at that point, the trust is gone anyways. There is a solution to this. When you get an account, a new account, it's important to know what kind of account you're getting, right? So most accounts come with what we call overdraft protection. At our credit union, it's called Courtesy Pay. But what that is it allows people to overdraft their account and it be okay, but there will be a fee. So for example, sometimes folks, they're worried about, I hate to use this word, but embarrassment. Let's say you go to the grocery store, you didn't realize that you only had $50 in your account because of something maybe pulled automatically from your account. So you go and you try to make a purchase that's $60. So there's $10 missing there from your account. With overdraft protection or with Courtesy Pay, they'll allow you to go ahead and make that transaction to get the groceries that you need, but you will have to pay that fee. When you open an account, you can actually opt out of those things if you wanted to. You could opt out of overdraft protection. You could opt out of Courtesy Pay. What that does is when you go to make that transaction, if there's not enough money in the account, it will simply decline your card. It won't let you do it. So in that case, that's a good opportunity if you have online banking, or if you have mobile banking, just log into your account real quick, see what you actually have, maybe put a few groceries back, come back and make your transaction. You never incur the fee. So I tell folks all the time, if you're somebody who does not look at your account very often, or something like that, that might be a better option for you if you're going to get an account. You don't have to have that overdraft protection. Another reason why there's a lack of trust is sometimes it's cultural. Maybe you're from another country or another place where you can't really trust financial institutions. Maybe where you come from, they take advantage of their people. They don't help their people. Right. In the United States, banks, credit unions, all financial institutions are heavily regulated. Most financial institutions are insured federally. For instance, we are a federal credit union. We are federally insured by the NCUA. So we have to follow very, very specific, strict guidelines to stay within that insurance, to have that protection, to protect your money. So that being said, there is a difference in how the United States make sure that financial institutions are not taking advantage of the people, but rather they're supposed to be providing a resource, right? We're supposed to be giving you a financial resource when we're providing you a bank account. So for those reasons, if you need more information on some of the differences, at the end, we'll provide my information. If you want to give me some specific scenario, maybe of something that happened where you're from, I might be able to share with you some things that we have in our laws that will protect you from those things. But for the sake of time, we're not going to get super specific into those things. Another reason why some folks remain unbanked is because of challenges in the past, banking challenges in the past. We call this, it could be check systems, Qualifile. You might hear banking folks talk about these things. They're just software systems, but basically what they do is when you try to open an account, if you've ever had challenges in banking in the past, a red flag will pop up to that representative of that financial institution and say, well, hold on, we might not be able to open an account for this person, and this is why. So for example, earlier when we talked about the idea of closing an account when you still owe them money and fees or whatever, in those scenarios, it will red flag and say, hey, this person still owes this other financial institution money. And sometimes that can cause hardship. It can make it difficult to open a new account. I can tell you at our credit union, we have something called second chance checking. We have another program called checklist checking. So it basically gives you some limitations, but it allows people to have a chance to get back into banking if they've had challenges in the past. Maybe another issue is that Sometimes you might have experienced somebody trying to use your social security number. Okay. So when that happens, if you're not aware of it, it might pop up in the system and they might show you to be somebody who is fraudulent. So it's not that you yourself are trying to commit fraud, it's that fraud has happened to you. And now you got to go through and verify some things. So sometimes it's not a matter of, sometimes it may not be a trust thing. Sometimes it might just be challenges from the past or challenges because of something somebody else did. It doesn't mean that you can't open an account. It just means there might be some extra hoops you might have to jump through. But I will tell you this, I have seen multiple accounts get opened from folks who had some red flags, but they were grateful because they didn't know that somebody had tried to use their information in the past.
Right.
So it actually helped them, and they were able to go make disputes with credit bureaus and the other institutions that said, hey, this person or this person's social has been used in these areas. And so sometimes it can actually be a helpful thing. So these are things to keep in mind for folks who may not have a financial institution that is their own. These are some of the reasons why, especially in Southern Nevada, so many folks remain unbanked. Now, that being said, what are some of the challenges to remaining unbanked? If you're not a part of a financial institution, if you don't have a bank account or a credit union account, what does that mean? Well, one thing is that your money is not necessarily safe, is it? It's not insured. So if you keep your money at home in an envelope, if you keep your money hidden in the mattress, or maybe you ball it up and put it in your freezer, wherever you keep it, if there was a house fire, that money is gone. There's no insurance on that money. It's gone. If you live with anybody else in your household, you can't always control who they bring into the house, right? So if they bring somebody into the house that you're not even sure you can trust, there's a possibility that money could get taken if they find it, right? And then what? Can you prove it? Can you go after them? That's very challenging. I can tell you that when you put money into a financial institution, if there was a fire or if there was a robbery or something like that, your money is insured. So earlier when I said we have a federal insurance, the NCUA, banks have FDIC. It's the same thing. But what it means is your money is insured up to $250,000 in case something like that happened. So that is one of the nice things about keeping your money at a financial institution is it's safe and it's secure, it's insured. Another thing is when you keep your money at home, it can't really build interest, can it? So what does that mean? Inflation is real. That's what it means. Inflation is so real. We are seeing, I'm sure you guys understand this, what we paid for a burger at McDonald's 10 years ago is very different from what we pay for a burger at McDonald's now, right? The way inflation continues to rise, if your money is not sitting somewhere where it can earn some interest, earn some dividends, it's earning its own money, even if it's a little bit. A little bit is always better than nothing, right? So if your money is just sitting at home and it can't build any kind of interest, it can't build its own money just sitting there, then as inflation rises, that money that you have sitting at home has less value, right? So over 5 years, over 10 years, that value is now less. So it's definitely advantageous if you're trying to save money to put it in a savings account that can actually build some interest on it. I'm going to talk about this in a moment, but there's no relationship being built when you need resources. So I'm going to explain that in a moment. So let's put a pin in that one.
We talk about that a lot, relationships. So I'm glad you're going to touch on that.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Yes. That's the main point right after this slide. So on this one, where we say banking resources aren't readily available, that's another part of the relationship that I'm going to talk about. And then banking services that would normally be complementary can cost you. So for instance, folks who want to get their check cashed, or maybe you need a money order, A lot of times, if you are a member of a credit union or you have a bank and you need those services, you can walk right in and get those services for free. But if you're not a member of a credit union or you don't have a bank account, then when you need those services, they're going to cost you additional money. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I want to talk to you very quickly about the relationship, and then I'm going to open this up to some questions with Peter, and then we'll close it up. Okay. So there's something very special about creating a relationship within your banking experience. How do you do that? How do you make the most out of that experience if you were to join a credit union or become a customer at a bank? The first thing it is good to go inside every once in a while. It's nice to know the people that are at your local branch. Now, I know that since COVID-19, that's not such a popular thing to do, which is fine. That's what online banking is for. That's what mobile banking is for. But if and when you have the opportunity to get to know some of the team members at your local branch, that can be beneficial to you. Another thing is to stay in the green. There will be times where you need help. You might go to your credit union or to your bank and you say, I really need a personal loan for this. I really need help in this area. They're going to pull up your account. And if they see that you are always in the red, you are always overdrafting your account, or you are bouncing checks or things like that, that hurts your relationship, because then when you need additional help, resources that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to get, it might be difficult for the bank or for the credit union to say, oh yeah, we'll do that for you. You've been with us for a while. If you have a poor relationship on your side of the bank, with the bank or the credit union. So you want to try to stay in the green. Basically, just be responsible with your account. That can help you. And this is why. This is what I mean when I say the relationship is so important, is because there will be times when you need things, when things are good and when things are bad. So what do I mean when things are good? I mean, let's say you are coming into some money. You're doing really well. Your business is thriving. And maybe you want to do something special for yourself. Maybe you want to put money into a CD and you want a high rate on that CD, on that savings certificate. Or maybe you want to buy yourself a boat, something fun, right? Things are going well. The fact is, you can look everywhere and you can find low rates on the boat, or you can find high rates on the savings account. But if you have a good relationship with your credit union or your bank, you can walk in there and say, here's some of the rates that I found. I'm doing well. Credit's good. Things are good. I know your rate sheet says this, but I want this rate. Chances are your bank or your credit union is going to give it to you because you got a good relationship with them. They don't want to lose your business. They're going to try to honor those rates, even if it's not their own. I can tell you from experience that I've seen that done many times here. Some of our long-standing members who have walked in and said, your CD rates are this, but these guys over here are saying they can do this, and we've matched it because they're a member. We love them. We want to help them. But then what about when things are bad or when things are challenging? A lot of people did not see, in fact, nobody saw COVID coming, right? It hit us like a train wreck. It was awful. And many, many people are still suffering because of the pandemic. I can tell you that if you were a member of our credit union when that happened, we immediately deferred all loan payments for 3 months. So if you were already a member and you had a loan with us, we deferred your payments for 3 months and we didn't report those non-payments to the credit bureaus. You were safe. We wanted to be a resource to our members. And that's what I mean when things are tough. I've also seen folks come in here before. I could tell you some very heartbreaking stories, but we've definitely had some members come in who've gone through some very, very challenging times, and they didn't know what else to do. They just needed help. They needed a personal loan, something to get them out of the mess that life had just laid on top of them. And because they had a good relationship with us, we made an exception for them. Maybe their credit wasn't the best. Maybe their income could have been a little bit better, but we worked with them and we tried to provide the right solution to help them because they're our member, because we care about our members and because our job is to be a financial resource to you guys, right? So yes, is banking even necessary? I believe that it is, not because I work for a credit union, but because I get to work with so many folks in our community every day, and I see what we've been able to do to help people. And everybody needs help sometimes, right? So if we can be that resource, we want to be, and we hope that you will see some value in putting your money in a financial institution where you can trust that financial institution, you can trust that account, and you can work with people that you like and that you trust. So I hope this was a help to you. I could go on and on, but I want to keep this in a good time frame. So I'll open it up to some questions with Peter, and we'll go from there. I'll unshare my screen if I can. Yes, stop share.
There you are. That was great. Absolutely great. And just a great kind of an introductory to this series that we're going to start having, where we're going to bring more information about banking because it's important. And I just love the fact that you talked about relationships, because that's the main thing that we're talking about to our young entrepreneurs, our Hispanic entrepreneurs. Create that friendship, that relationship directly with the bank. And I know technology is important. I'm still an old school guy. I know my banker's first name, and I can attest to, yes, during good times and bad times, having the relationship that I have has really paid off. Mm-hmm. And so grateful that you're talking about that. I want to get a little more specific because I got questions sent to me on these, and I want to talk about SCE Federal Credit Union specifically. Why would somebody want to choose that credit union over, what do we call traditional banks that people know about?
I really appreciate that question, Peter, because there definitely is a difference, and people just generally don't know. And so thank you for giving me the platform to speak on that. So there is a big difference. Credit unions are not for profit. So the reason why credit unions are not for profit is because we are built to be a resource not only to our members, but to the community. We are definitely a community-based organization. I cannot speak for other credit unions, but I can speak for SCE, especially as their community director and working with these other organizations in town and working with individuals and families all across the area. We definitely practice what we preach. We spend a lot of time providing resources to folks who need it. But beyond that, a credit union is supposed to, because they're not for profit, they're supposed to take any money that is earned and put it back into the credit union to provide better products and services to its members. I can definitely speak to that and say that SCE has many products and services that are not profitable to the credit union whatsoever, but they have been a huge help to many of our members. We have very safe ways to build credit, not only for adults, but even young people who are wanting to get started in building their credit. We have ways to help people who've gotten trapped in the payday loan cycle. And out here in Southern Nevada, that's an issue for some folks. So we have ways to help with that. We do simple things like mortgages, refis, auto loans, all of those things, but we definitely have some really great products and services to help the community. We even do one-on-one counseling. I do financial coaching on a regular basis. It's very private. It gives people a feeling of safety, that their information is not out there, but they have somebody that they can confide in and say, I have no idea what to do at this point. Can you help me? And we give them a strategy and we give them the resources they need.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Maria wanted to know, do you do loans and what kind of loans? You kind of just touched on that, but yeah, I mean, you do all the traditional type of loans, right?
Yeah, we do all the traditional loans. Anything that you can get at a bank, we have, plus more. So for instance, if you want to build credit, we have something called a credit builder loan. And basically you build savings while you build your credit. It's very safe. It's very low interest, and it doesn't matter what your credit score currently is. We'll approve anybody so long as you're not in the middle of a bankruptcy. Other than that, we can approve you. We even have this one loan. It's called a vehicle value loan. And it's very different than anything I've ever heard from any other financial institution. But basically, if you're looking to get a low rate, the best way to get a low rate on something is to back it with security, right? With something. So usually you would consider that a title loan if you're using your car. But let's say you don't have the title yet. You're still paying on your vehicle, but there's equity in the vehicle. If you have equity in your vehicle, we will basically loan you based on that equity and give you a very low rate because it's backed by that vehicle. It's a little bit different. It's a different way to think, but I mean, if you think about it, that's how we do refis on homes. So why can't we do it with vehicles? And that has been a really cool product that we've seen a lot of people take advantage of.
And Jose's asking, can anyone make deposits into your credit union, SCE Federal Credit Union?
Yes. So credit unions used to be only with, you had to be a part of a select employment group to be a member of a credit union, but many credit unions now have been able to open up their membership to their local communities. So at SCE, I can say if you, so long as you can show valid ID, you can become a member here, you can deposit money here, you can get loans with us, and so on and so forth.
And Pablo is asking an interesting question. He says, is it okay to put a little bit of money in to start out in your credit union, still keeping some dollars in the bank that they've been comfortable with, just to test it out?
Oh, I love that question. Yes, Pablo, you can absolutely do that. In fact, we encourage folks, if you are a part of another financial institution or a bank that you already like, or it's just convenient for you to keep that account, please do. We kind of consider ourselves like a Costco or a Sam's Club, right? You don't stop shopping at your normal spot, Albertsons, Smith's, whatever, but there are some things that you can get at Costco that you can't get there. And that's what we are as the credit union. We can provide some resources to you that you might not be able to get over there. There's nothing wrong with having multiple accounts. We just want to be here for you.
Well, that's outstanding, Emily. I certainly have appreciated getting to know you a little better and getting to know your credit union better. You guys are really all about it. And I think I'm glad that we're introducing you to our membership and our community, because I'm here to tell you folks, I've spent some time with them. They really are all about what they talk about. They really do want to be a resource and a friend to you in the banking world. And I know that people are very curious about FICO scores and all that stuff. And like I said, we're going to do a series. We're going to bring back some more information. I want this to be an ongoing thing. So Emily, thank you so much for spending a little time with us today and letting us in on some of your knowledge that you have. It's really, really an asset.
I appreciate you, Peter. Thank you so much for letting me be on here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do it. We're going to do it again soon.
The Latin Chamber of Commerce of Nevada is proud to support the Southern Nevada Health District to promote safe and easy access to COVID-19 vaccines across the Las Vegas Valley. The tests are conducted daily, and everyone 16 years of age and older are welcome. We'd like to thank the brave men and women working to help our community and keep our families safe. Scheduling your vaccine is easy. Just visit snhd.org.